Stop looking for red flags and start looking for the mask. You are being hunted by people you call friends. You've been lied to. You were taught that fake people are easy to spot, that they're just the ones who talk behind your back or disappear when things get hard. But the most dangerous people in your life don't look like enemies. They look like your biggest fans. You think you can tell the difference between a real friend and a fraud, but while you're busy looking for a villain with a knife behind their back, you're missing the person holding a friend mask to your face. You think you have a vibe for people. You think you can just tell when someone is being real. But while you're busy looking for a vibe, a predator is looking for a way in. You are currently surrounded by people who are performing for you, not connecting with you. They aren't your friends, they are actors, and you are their favorite audience. Here is the Machiavellian reality. A fake person is not an accident. They are a strategy. They use bestie bombing to bypass your defenses. They use over-compliments to drug your ego. They mirror your interests to make you feel seen, but they are actually just mapping your perimeter. You felt that slight itch in your brain when someone is too nice, too fast, or too perfect. You ignored it because you wanted to be liked. You traded your safety for a compliment, and now you're paying the price in betrayal and wasted time. Machiavelli warned that men are so simple and so much inclined to obey immediate needs. Your need is to feel significant. Their need is to use you. They don't have to hate you to destroy you. They just have to be more committed to their mask than they are to your well-being. If you can't see the wound behind their smile, you are already their prey. If you don't learn how to read the blood type of the people around you, you will continue to be the person who gets surprised by betrayal. You will continue to be the one who says, "I never saw it coming," while everyone else saw it from a mile away. Real power isn't about being cynical. It's about being accurate. It's about knowing that when someone pushes an identity too hard, when they try too hard to be seen as the honest one, the smart one, or the loyal one, they are actually pointing directly at the hole in their soul they are trying to cover up. In this video, we are going to strip the paint off the people in your life. We are going to expose the 5 masks of fake people, the specific, undeniable patterns that reveal a deceiver in under 60 seconds. By the end of this, you will never look at a friendly stranger the same way again. You will stop being a victim of vibes and start being a master of human mechanics. Listen carefully, because the person you're thinking about right now, the one who feels just a little bit off, is counting on you to look away. We are going to make sure you don't. 1. The mask of instant intimacy, bestie bombing. The most dangerous person in your life is the one who claims to love you before they even know you. You've met this person before. Within 10 minutes of meeting them, they're telling you that you're soulmates, twins, or that they've never met anyone like you. They laugh at every joke you make. They agree with every opinion you have. They rush your personal perimeter like a frantic soldier trying to claim territory. You think it's a vibe. You think you've finally found someone who gets you. Wake up. You aren't being connected. You are being mapped. Machiavelli knew that men are so eager to satisfy their present desire that they do not notice the poison hidden within. The bestie bomber is a social predator who uses high-intensity affection as a smokescreen. Secure, high-value people do not attach instantly. They are cautious with their trust because their trust has actual value. If someone is handing you their unconditional loyalty on the first day, it's because that loyalty is worth nothing, or because they are trying to trick you into handing over yours in exchange. Think about why they do this. By declaring you their best friend immediately, they create a false sense of obligation. Now, you feel like you have to be nice back. You feel like you can't say no to their favors, because, after all, you're besties. They are skipping the months of vetting and testing that real relationships require so they can get straight to the payout. They are looking for a host, someone whose status, money, or emotional energy they can parasite. You've seen the pattern. These people come into your life like a hurricane of support, and then the moment you stop being useful, or the moment you set a single boundary, they vanish, or worse, they turn. The person who loved you instantly will be the same person who hates you with the same intensity the moment you stop feeding their ego. This is the harsh truth. Instant intimacy is a strategy of the weak. It is a sign of deep-seated insecurity. They need to lock you in before you realize who they actually are. They are overselling themselves because they know the product is defective. They drown you in bestie bombing so you'll be too blinded by the flattery to notice the red flags waving in your face. They don't want to be your friend. They want to be your shadow. They want to merge with your identity so they can hide their own. If you are currently entertaining someone who is moving too fast, stop. Realize that you are being groomed for a transaction. Machiavelli warned that he who believes that new benefits will cause great personages to forget old injuries is deceived. In this case, he who believes that a stranger's love is real is a fool. A prince watches the man who rushes toward him with open arms just as closely as the man who stands with a sword. You have been allowing these people to walk through your front door without checking their ID. You've been mistaking enthusiasm for character. You've let the bestie bomber set the pace of your life, and that is why your inner circle feels like a revolving door of drama and disappointment. Stop being a fool. This is not connection. This is a perimeter breach. In the Machiavellian world, trust is a commodity that must be earned through trial, time, and sacrifice. When someone offers it for free, it's because it's counterfeit. Bestie bombing is a tactical maneuver designed to bypass your logical defenses. By flooding you with instant intimacy, they create a social debt that you didn't ask for but feel obligated to pay. You need to start treating instant intimacy as a red alert. When someone moves too fast, you must move twice as slow. Watch how they react when you don't share a secret back. Watch how they
Jebote sunce, hoćemo li šta pogoditi danas?
react when you aren't available for their emergency hangout. A real friend will respect your pace. A fake person will get frustrated or hurt because you are ruining their timeline for control. They are on a clock, and every day you don't fully trust them is a day they risk being exposed.
Kažu da novac ne kupuje sreću. Lažu vas. Zapravo, novac kupuje sreću, ali samo do određene granice. Problem je u tome što tu granicu, odnosno taj magični iznos, da kažemo iznos sreće, većina ljudi nikada ne izračuna i nikada ne dostigne u svojoj zaradi. Tako da praktično mnogi i ne znaju gde im se nalazi ta optimalna cifra. A upravo ćemo se danas baviti tom cifrom sreće i pokazati zašto te zapravo svaka kovanica koju zaradiš nakon tog iznosa zapravo može učiniti nesrećnijim nego što si sad.
Lične financije, znanje što zlata vredi. Uštedi, uloži i profit će da sledi. Pametno planiraj, svaki dinar broj. Uz pravu odluku, uspeh bit će tvoj. Priče o budžetu, štednji i kamati. Slušaj ako želiš da banka manje ti naplati. Đorđe tu je s tobom da ne budeš mediokritet. Finansijska sloboda, to je prioritet.
Pozdrav svima, ja sam Đorđe, a vi ste na kanalu Lične financije. I danas pričamo o povezanosti sreće i novca. Ne znam da li ste znali, ali psiholozi kažu da svako od nas ima određeni bazni nivo sreće. Što se na engleskom kaže set point theory, ukoliko želite malo više da istražujete samostalno. Zamislite to kao temperaturu u jednoj sobi. I recimo termostat pokazuje 22 stepena. Vi možete nakratko otvoriti prozor, ući će hladan vazduh i recimo bit će vam hladno u tom momentu. Kao, na primjer, da izgubite novac. I vaš osjećaj hladnoće će trajati jedno vreme, ali će se na kraju soba postepeno ugrejati i doći na 22 stepena. Isto tako možete doći u situaciju da recimo uključite neku grejalicu i da ugrejete temperaturu na recimo 25 stepeni, ali onog momenta kada se grejalica ugasi i posle nekog vremena će se temperatura ponovo prirodno spustiti na onih 22 stepena. I upravo tih 22 stepena iz mog primjera je ono što je zapravo naš, da kažemo, biološki predodređen bazni nivo sreće. I psiholozi zovu taj fenomen hedonistička adaptacija. I upravo to objašnjava onu činjenicu kada recimo kupimo automobil na kredit i mi smo ushićeni zbog tog novog automobila, ali posle nekog vremena to ushićenje prestane. I zapravo je taj osjećaj uzbuđenja kraći nego što će nam, recimo, trebati da nam dođe sledeća rata kredita. I zato nastaje taj disbalans između ushićenja zbog nove stvari i zapravo neke teskobe zbog nove rate koju tu stvar treba da platimo. Postoji čuvena studija iz 1978. Evo, ovde ću ovako ispisati ime, pošto je malo duže, koja je pratila dobitnike na lutriji i preživele žrtve saobraćajnih nesreća koje su zapravo ostajali u, da kažem, u kolicima kao invalidi. I šta mislite, nakon godinu dana od nastanka tog događaja, znači bilo da je dobitak na lutriji ili saobraćajna nesreća, koja grupa je bila srećnija? Verovali ili ne, nakon godinu dana su obe grupe zapravo iskazale sličan nivo sreće. Kod ovih dobitnika na lutriji se ona euforija lagano izduvala, dok sa druge strane ove žrtve saobraćajnih nesreća nisu bile u konstantnom očaju, što je svakako dobro. Znači, naš mozak teži nekom balansu, bez obzira na to kakvo je stanje na našem bankovnom računu. Sva naučna istraživanja nas navode na sledeće zaključke. Kaže, 50% naše sreće je zapravo genetski predodređeno.
Ma šta blokiraš, Bog te mazu?
40% su naše namerne aktivnosti i način razmišljanja, a 10% su životne okolnosti. Znači, da li smo bogati, siromašni, u braku ili sami, da li živimo u ovom kraju ili u onom. Znači, samo 10%. Ako pogledamo logički, mi trošimo 90% svog vremena pokušavajući da promenimo onih 10% okolnosti koje utiču na naš nivo sreće. Znači, da želimo da imamo više novca, bolji auto, opremljeniji stan i tako dalje. A potpuno ignorišemo onih 40% gde mi zapravo imamo uticaj i gde možemo da utičemo na to kako ćemo prosto sagledavati našu finansijsku situaciju. Iz svega ovoga možemo zaključiti sledeće. Ako tvoja lična sreća zavisi od onih 10% materijalnog, ti si u jednom finansijskom i emotivnom problemu. Novac bi trebao da bude tu da nam obezbedi jedan mir i da nam obezbedi zapravo, da kažemo, resurse za onih 40% na koje imamo uticaj. Znači, na našu porodicu, na naše hobije, na naš lični razvoj. A kada smo kod ličnog razvoja, prijatelji iz Bloomberga imaju sjajnu ponudu za vas. Uz promo kod PRO85 možete dobiti 85% popusta na njihov top plan i tako dobiti premium sadržaj i pristup ekspert platformi za samo oko 1 evro mesečno. Idemo nazad na video. Sve ovo bi značilo da zapravo postoji jedna određena cifra sreće, znači jedna tačka do koje zapravo svaki dodatni dinar koji zaradimo doprinosi našem opštem nivou sreće. A šta ćemo posle toga? Prema istraživanju Daniela Kahnemana i Angusa Deatona, ta cifra zavisi od Na Balkanu bismo mogli da kažemo da je magična cifra tačka u kojoj su pokriveni siguran krov nad glavom, kvalitetna hrana, privatno zdravstveno osiguranje, fond za hitne slučajeve i recimo po jedno letovanje i zimovanje. Nadam se da se slažete. Kada bismo pokušali da nacrtamo grafikon kretanja sreće u odnosu na naše financije i na našu zaradu, taj grafikon bi izgledao ovako. Evo, stavit ću ga negde ovako sa strane da možete da ga vidite. Šta je ideja? Do ove tačke koja je negde ovako na vrhu grafikona, sa svakim dodatnim dinarom ili evrom koji zarađujemo, naš nivo sreće raste i možemo da rešimo neki konkretan gorući problem koji imamo. Ova tačka na vrhu bi se mogla zvati tačkom opadajućih prinosa. I u ekonomiji je to vrlo dobro poznato. I sada, recimo, na ovu tačku možemo staviti cifru od recimo 2.500 evra ili 3.000 evra i reći da je zapravo na Balkanu ova cifra dovoljna za komforan život. I verujem da će mnogi od vas sada skočiti sa nekom idejom da je to previše i da to prosto nije dostižno, ali dobra stvar u svemu ovome je da zapravo vama ne treba 3.000 evra mesečno da biste rešili veći deo vaših problema. Već se zapravo 80% vaših problema rešava na ovim početnim nivoima grafikona, ovde gde vidite da je ova linija najagresivnija, odnosno gde ima najveći uspon. To znači da praktično ukoliko vi negde zarađujete minimalac, pa vaša zarada sada skoči odjednom na recimo 120-130 hiljada dinara, vi ćete imati najveću promenu vašeg životnog stila i najveće smanjenje vašeg stresa koje je vezano za finansije. Naravno, i dalje stoji da nećete moći baš sve probleme da rešite, ali one najbitnije goruće probleme možete da krenete da rešavate već u toj inicijalnoj fazi. I naravno, sada dolazi pitanje šta se dešava sa nivom sreće kada vi pređete tih 2.500-3.000 evra. Kao prvo možemo vidjeti da se, da kažemo, sa svakim dodatnim iznosom novca koji vi zarađujete, vaša sreća zapravo odjednom sada smanjuje. Zašto? Zato što vi sada imate pritisak da morate da očuvate to bogatstvo, da morate da ga investirate pametno, da morate da se bavite nekim stvarima koje do tada apsolutno nisu morale da vas zanimaju i prosto vi osjećate sve veći stres zbog toga što upravljate sve većom imovinom. Znam da zvuči paradoksalno, ali prosto sva istraživanja to pokazuju. I što je najgore od svega, vi zapravo nakon tog iznosa krećete da vijete nešto što se zove status. I status je zapravo u finansijskom smislu jedna rupa bez dna, gde će uvek trebati više novca, više novca, više novca i naravno to proizvodi sve više i više stresa i u krajnjoj liniji smanjuje vaš nivo sreće. Ako ste mislili da vam treba novac da biste kupili sreću i da ćete dolaskom do novca biti magično srećniji, eto, mislim da vas je nauka demantovala. A da li uopšte možemo uticati na neki nivo sreće do neke te granice, kao što smo rekli, do one magične tačke? Apsolutno možemo. I možemo uticati na to da nakon te tačke naša ta dodatna sreća sporije opada. A kako ćemo to raditi? Pa to ćemo raditi tako što ćemo trošiti novac strateški na stvari koje nama donose blagostanje, ulažući u naše slobodno vreme, a ne u ono što nam neke reklame i bilbordi sugerišu da treba da radimo. I sada, evo 3 načina na koje to možete da postignete. Kao prvo, i što je možda bila neka i najvažnija lekcija iz ovog videa, jeste da kada dođete do nekog novca, pokušate sebi da kupite svoje slobodno vreme nazad. Po meni, najskuplja stvar koju možete kupiti jeste, recimo, slobodno vreme utorkom popodne, na primjer, ili bilo kog drugog radnog dana. Sva istraživanja su pokazala da oni ljudi koji su iskoristili svoj novac da se oslobode poslova koje mrze, zapravo žive srećnije. Naprimjer, neko ne voli da kuva, neko ne voli da čisti stan, neko ne voli da šeta svog psa, neko ne voli ne znam šta. Znači, poenta priče je da ukoliko imate nešto u svom životu što vam je dosadno, naporno, što je repetitivno, prosto pokušajte to da sklonite iz svog života, naravno ukoliko je to, da kažemo, senzibilno zbog cene usluge koju biste morali da platite. To bi negde značilo da kada se, recimo, pojavite u tržnom centru i, recimo, pred vama stoji izbor da kupite sat od 300 evra, razmislite da li možda možete sa tih 300 evra nešto drugo da platite, što bi vam oslobodilo vreme. Jer na kraju krajeva stvari zauzimaju prostor i donekle nas čine srećnijim, dok sa druge strane slobodno vreme je ono što nam zapravo daje slobodu. Izlazimo, da se šetamo, spavamo ukoliko želimo ili da se bavimo nekim drugim aktivnostima koje će nam povećati nivo sreće. Druga stvar jeste da kupujete uspomene, a ne predmete, odnosno ne nešto što će vam zapravo, da kažemo, samo biti još jedna stvar na vašoj checklisti koju ćete čekirati. Vraćamo se na onu priču o hedonističkoj adaptaciji. Recimo, izašao je iPhone 17 i gle čuda, svi u gradu su odjednom imali narandžasti telefon. Međutim, kada je prošlo nedelju, dve nakon izlaska novog iPhona, šta se dešavalo? Svi su drugi tretirali taj iPhone kao bilo šta drugo i kao neki stari telefon. Taj novi telefon je prvih 7, 10, 14 dana bio senzacija. Nakon toga je samo još jedan alat koji vam stoji na stolu. Ako je uopšte alat, ako nije, samo sredstvo za gubljenje vremena, ali to je druga tema. A sa druge strane imamo iskustva. Ona malo funkcionišu drugačije. Recimo, da li je to neki koncert, da li je to neko putovanje. Poenta priče je dok vi zapravo u onom momentu kada kupite kartu, do momenta kada odete na taj koncert ili putovanje, vi zapravo to iščekujete, spremate se, istražujete, učite o nekim novim lokacijama, na primjer. Znači, prosto vi imate to ushićenje da će se desiti nešto novo i nešto što do sada niste iskusili. Ono što je takođe bitno jeste da nakon tog iskustva vama ostaje uspomena. To će značiti da vi niste čovek koji ima taj i taj auto ili taj i taj telefon, već ste čovek koji je video polarnu svetlost, naučio da roni i prosto ima priče kojima će uspevati da održi razgovor zanimljivim i za 20 godina. I na trećem mestu, što možda deluje čudno jer deluje da vi zapravo gubite novac, ali kada ga imate donekle na pretek i kada vam egzistencija nije ugrožena, to i nije tako strašno. A to je da zapravo investirate u društveni kapital, kako bih rekao, ili možda, bolje da kažem, odnose i u neke aktivnosti koje su vama značajne. I upravo su psiholozi sa Harvarda dokazali da ta prosocijalna potrošnja, u smislu da vi kolegama kupite kafu, odete sa prijateljima na ručak pa platite, da prosto tom potrošnjom vi ne gubite novac, već ga zapravo investirate u bolje društvene odnose. I kad tad ćete imati taj neki džoker u rukavu da iskoristite uslugu kod drugih ljudi kada vam nešto bude zatrebalo. Ono što je negde sigurno jeste da je usamljenost najgora bolest modernog doba. A novac koji vi koristite, da prosto investirate u vreme provedeno sa vašim najbližima, je nešto što će vam se sigurno vratiti. Shvatite to kao dividendu u vidu podrške, prijateljstva i prosto na neki način emotivne inteligencije koju ćete razraditi.
Šta si sport tako?
Ne ulažete novac u ono što prosto, da kažemo, koristi da biste impresionirali druge, već koristite novac da biste produbili odnose sa ljudima koje već volite. E sada, ako ste se vi prepoznali u ovoj priči kao neko ko pokušava materijalnim zadovoljstvima da...
Joj, Bože. Okej. Da vidimo. Burn the bitch. Bah. Tüh. Aha. Ah. Piece of shit. Jo, jebem ti.
Close this video now. Seriously, what you're about to learn will fundamentally change how you see every relationship, every interaction, every person you trust. Once you understand what Machiavelli actually documented about human nature, you can't unknow it. You can't unsee the patterns. You can't return to comfortable ignorance. In 1513, a disgraced diplomat sat in exile and wrote observations about human behavior so disturbing that the Catholic Church banned his work for 200 years. Not because what he wrote was false, but because it was too true. Because once people understood these patterns, they could no longer be controlled through the same mechanisms. Because knowledge, this powerful in the hands of ordinary people, threatened every established hierarchy. Machiavelli didn't teach people how to be evil. He revealed the evil already being practiced against them. He documented the manipulation already happening. He exposed the game already being played, and the people running that game didn't want you to understand the rules. Today I'm giving you the observations that made Machiavelli's name synonymous with forbidden knowledge. Not sanitized versions, not academic interpretations. The actual patterns he documented about how power works, how manipulation operates, and how the people around you are playing games you don't even know exist. This changes everything. Your friendships, your romantic relationships, your career, your family dynamics. Once you see these patterns, you'll recognize them everywhere, and you can never go back to trusting the way you did before. Last chance to close this video and keep your comfortable illusions intact. Still here? Then let's reveal what you're not supposed to know. Pattern 1. Everyone is always performing. Here's Machiavelli's first forbidden observation. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Translation: every person you interact with is performing a version of themselves strategically crafted for social consumption. The person you think you know is a carefully constructed presentation, not their actual self. This isn't occasional dishonesty. This is constant, universal performance that operates beneath conscious awareness. Your best friend is performing friendship while managing their actual interests and calculations. Your romantic partner is performing love while maintaining strategic options and boundaries. Your colleagues are performing cooperation while positioning for advantage. The performance isn't necessarily malicious. It's adaptive human behavior. We learn early that showing our complete authentic selves leads to social punishment, so we craft personas that get us what we need while protecting our vulnerabilities. But the result is that you never actually know anyone fully, and no one actually knows you. Watch your own behavior honestly. You act differently with your boss than with your friends. You present differently on first dates than after months of relationship. You show certain parts of yourself to family and hide others. You manage how others perceive you constantly. This is performance. Everyone else is doing the same thing. The friendly colleague has calculations beneath the friendliness. The loving partner has boundaries beneath the affection. The supportive friend has limits beneath the support. You're never seeing complete authenticity. You're seeing managed presentation designed to achieve social objectives. Machiavelli observed that princes who believed their advisors loyalty often found themselves betrayed by those same advisors when circumstances changed. The loyalty was performance serving the advisor's interests until it didn't. Your relationships work the same way. The person who performs friendship today will stop performing it when the performance no longer serves their interests. The person who performs love will stop when their needs shift or better options appear. The person who performs loyalty has already calculated when disloyalty becomes more advantageous. This is uncomfortable because it means you can't fully trust anyone's presentation, but it's liberating because it means you can stop expecting authentic constancy from humans who are fundamentally strategic and adaptive. People will be consistent as long as consistency serves them. When it doesn't, they'll change. Not because they're evil, but because they're human. Your protection is recognizing the performance without being naive about it. Enjoy relationships for what they provide while they last, without expecting them to last forever, based on performed promises. The person performing today may not perform tomorrow, and that's simply how human relationships work. Pattern 2. All loyalty is conditional and temporary. Machiavelli wrote, "Men are ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, covetous, and as long as you succeed, they are yours entirely. But when danger approaches, they turn against you." This is his most brutal observation about loyalty, that it's never actually loyal. It's always conditional on your continued ability to provide benefit and avoid becoming a liability. Watch this pattern in your own life. The friends who were intensely present while you were successful, fun, or useful. Then circumstances changed. You faced hardship, or you became less entertaining, or you couldn't provide what they wanted anymore. Suddenly they were too busy to maintain the friendship. The loyalty and conditions changed. This isn't unique to bad friends. This is universal human behavior. People remain in relationships, friendship, romantic, as long as the benefits exceed the costs. When that calculation shifts, most people shift their loyalty accordingly. Not consciously or maliciously, just naturally as self-interested organisms. Your romantic partner's devotion right now is conditioned on you continuing to meet their needs, remaining attractive to them, and not presenting better alternatives. If those conditions change, the devotion changes. This sounds cynical until you examine your own behavior and realize you operate the same way. The loyalty people show you isn't about you. It's about what you provide to them. Status, entertainment, emotional support, practical benefits,
Testing.
sexual access, social connections, financial advantages. As long as you provide sufficient value relative to the costs of maintaining the relationship, loyalty continues. When the math changes, so does the loyalty. Machiavelli documented this, watching political alliances dissolve instantly when circumstances shifted. The ally who swore eternal loyalty yesterday becomes your enemy today, because today your defeat serves their interests better than your success. The mechanism operates identically in personal relationships. People stay loyal as long as your success benefits them and abandon you when your difficulties become their liability. This is why truly unconditional loyalty is so rare. Parents sometimes achieve it with children, and even that's not universal. Most other relationships claiming unconditional loyalty are actually deeply conditional. The conditions just haven't been tested yet. When they are tested, the conditionality reveals itself. Your protection isn't becoming cynical and trusting no one. It's recognizing that loyalty has limits and conditions, even when those limits aren't explicitly acknowledged. Build redundancy in your relationships. Don't make yourself dependent on any single person's loyalty. Provide value to multiple people so that any single person's loyalty shift doesn't devastate you. And most importantly, recognize that when people's loyalty shifts, it's usually not personal. It's strategic adaptation to change circumstances. They're not evil for adapting. They're human. Understanding this prevents the naive devastation that comes from believing loyalty is unconditional. Discovering it isn't. Victims are more dangerous than obvious threats. Here's where Machiavelli's observations
druškane, pa ne možeš da ga spotaš, jel
that the
tako?
people who appeared most harmless, who positioned themselves as victims, who seemed weak and wounded, were often the most dangerous because their apparent powerlessness prevented others from defending against them. The person who openly threatens you activates your defenses. You prepare, you protect, you respond. But the person who positions themselves as your victim bypasses your defenses entirely.
Pomagajte drugovi, hoću da se utopim zbog nje.
You lower your guard, you provide access and resources. And that's exactly when
Joj, daj izađi skroz, ne može da spusti top, jebem ti sunce.
The colleague who constantly plays victim to avoid accountability while accumulating power through sympathy and support.
Jebem ti.
The romantic partner.
Bog te jebo, kad ču ljudi mene gađaju, tu znači imaju depresiju minus 60.000.
The family member whose perpetual crises keep everyone else's resources flowing toward them. The strategic victim gains enormous power while appearing powerless.
A ja kad treba nekome nešto da uradim, Bog te, znači moramo izaći naravno i još tamo ne smijem naći kamen neki.
And they can destroy opponents by framing those opponents as oppressors. Machiavelli observed that political actors who successfully positioned themselves as victims often maneuvered themselves into power, while those who appeared strong became targets. The same dynamic operates in personal and professional contexts. The person everyone sees as victim has protection and advantages that obvious threats don't. Your protection requires distinguishing genuine suffering from strategic victimhood. Genuine victims eventually move toward recovery and don't use their victimization to avoid all accountability or extract unlimited resources. Strategic victims remain perpetually in crisis, use victimhood to avoid accountability, and escalate victim claims when boundaries are set. Watch for people whose victimhood always serves their strategic interests, who are somehow always the innocent party in conflicts, who use claims of victimization to shut down criticism or questioning.
Ma
These
joj.
patterns indicate weaponized victimhood rather than genuine suffering. The truly dangerous person is the one you don't perceive as dangerous because they
Hoćemo li,
position themselves
znači
as
opet
harmless
ide,
victim.
opet ide dobro
Your
partija.
most significant threat may be the person you're currently feeling most protective toward. Pattern 4. Love is strategic biology, not transcendent connection. Machiavelli didn't write extensively about romantic love, but his observations about human nature reveal uncomfortable truths about it. What you experience as falling in love is neurochemical.
Joj, jebem ti sunce kad dobiješ debilčine u timu, pa oni rade sve što ne treba.
It impairs judgment and it's fundamentally
Oni rade na
strategic
svoje, znači
rather
sodu
than
se,
transcendent.
snajpaju se nazad.
The intense feeling you call love lasts 6 months to 3 years
Pa
maximum.
Bog te je.
Your brain
Hoćemo li
literally
ga
cannot
pogoditi,
maintain that
znači neko.
neurochemical state longer. It's metabolically too expensive and would impair your ability to function.
Debilčine,
So,
znači.
evolution designed romantic love to be intense enough to create bonding, but temporary enough not to destroy your broader functioning. This means every decision you make based on romantic love, including who to marry, is being made under the influence of a temporary neurochemical state that impairs your judgment about the very question it's being used to answer. You're betting your future on feelings that are
Joj debilizma, znači, Bože.
using judgment that's compromised by those very feelings.
Joj,
When
koje
the
su to debilčine.
neurochemistry normalizes, you're left with whoever you chose based on impaired judgment, and you have to figure out if you're actually compatible with them for the decades of partnership that don't involve intense romantic feeling. Most people
Ma
discover
to mi
they aren't,
reci.
which is why divorce rates approach
To.
50% for first marriages and increase for subsequent marriages. The person you think you can't live without right now is the
Dođu,
result
nabiju
of
se u
dopamine,
ćoškove, znači,
norepinephrine,
debilčine
and
jedne.
serotonin fluctuations in your brain, creating temporary obsession. In a year or two, when those chemicals normalize, the person will seem less extraordinary and the relationship will depend on actual compatibility rather than neurochemical intoxication. Machiavelli would recognize this immediately. As humans being controlled by biological imperatives, they mistake for transcendent experiences. You think you're making a choice based on profound connection. You're actually responding to ancient biological programming designed to propagate genes without regard for your long-term happiness or compatibility. Your protection is recognizing that romantic love is the worst possible criterion for choosing a life partner because it's temporary and impairs judgment. Evaluate potential partners for actual compatibility, financial values, life goals, communication styles, lifestyle preferences, while recognizing that romantic feeling is temporary intoxication rather than reliable guide to relationship viability. Build relationships on compatible partnership rather than intense feeling. The feeling will fade regardless. Compatible partnership can last decades if chosen wisely, when judgment is clear rather than during neurochemical intoxication. Pattern 5. Every relationship is power negotiation. Machiavelli's most fundamental observation. All human interaction is negotiation over power distribution. Every relationship involves constant, mostly unconscious negotiation about who has what power, who controls what resources, who sets what boundaries. This negotiation never stops because power dynamics remain constantly in flux. Watch any relationship and you'll see this. Who controls the schedule? Whose preferences take priority? Whose boundaries get respected? Who has final say on major decisions? Who has access to resources? These questions get negotiated constantly through thousands of small interactions that establish
Svi
power
čekaju neke.
distribution. Most people are unconscious of this negotiation, which means they're losing it constantly to people who are conscious of it. You think you're just accommodating your friend by changing plans again. Actually, you're establishing that their preferences override yours. You think you're being generous with your partner by funding things disproportionately. Actually, you're establishing economic dependence that shifts power. Every accommodation, every compromise, every boundary you let slide establishes precedent about power distribution. The person who learns they can disrespect your boundaries learns they have power over you. The person who learns you'll always accommodate their preferences learns they control the relationship. The person who learns they can extract resources without reciprocation learns they're the beneficiary of unequal exchange.
Bože.
These power distributions
idemo na tebe. Idemo na tebe znači da te rastočim. Da me rastočiš, ne.
Established they can cancel on you last minute won't easily accept you setting firmer boundaries. The person who's established they can treat you poorly won't easily accept you demanding respect.
Ujebem ti, sunac.
Accommodation that your boundaries are negotiable. Machiavelli observed that princes who failed to establish and maintain power found themselves controlled by those they thought they controlled. Your relationships work identically. If you're not consciously establishing boundaries and maintaining them, you're unconsciously surrendering power to others who may or may not use it benevolently. Your protection is recognizing that every interaction involves power negotiation, whether you acknowledge it or not. The person who's conscious of this negotiation can participate strategically. The person who's unconscious of it participates anyway, but loses consistently because they're unaware of what's being negotiated. Set boundaries early. Enforce them consistently. Recognize when someone is testing boundaries and respond firmly. Maintain reciprocity in resource exchange. Don't accommodate so much that you establish you have no limits. Conscious power negotiation protects you from unconscious power surrender. Pattern 6. Your beliefs are managed by others' interests. Machiavelli observed that successful rulers controlled what their subjects believed more than what their subjects did. Control belief and behavior follows automatically. This pattern operates today with sophistication that would astound Machiavelli, but follows principles he documented perfectly. The beliefs you hold about politics, morality, relationships, success, happiness, most weren't developed through independent examination. They were installed by people and institutions whose interests those beliefs serve. Your values feel authentic, but were shaped by exposure to narratives designed to make you think, feel, and behave in ways beneficial to others. This isn't conspiracy theory. It's basic social engineering that operates openly once you learn to see it. Media narratives shape political beliefs in ways that serve specific interests. Educational systems instill values that create compliant workers and consumers. Social norms enforce behaviors that maintain existing power structures. Marketing creates desires that fuel economic activity. You believe you've independently concluded certain things. Actually, you've been exposed to carefully crafted information and narratives designed to lead you toward predetermined conclusions. The beliefs feel like yours because the process of installation was subtle enough not to trigger resistance. Watch this operate in real time. An issue emerges. Within days, you've been exposed to dozens of narratives, all pointing toward similar conclusions, despite appearing to come from independent sources. The consensus feels organic, but was manufactured through coordinated narrative deployment. You adopt views that feel like independent judgment, but actually reflect successful narrative management. Machiavelli would recognize this immediately as sophisticated application of principles he documented. The ruler who controlled subjects' beliefs controlled their behavior without requiring force. Modern systems have perfected this, controlling beliefs through narrative saturation, social pressure, and algorithmic information filtering that ensures you're primarily exposed to views that serve specific interests. Your protection requires recognizing that your beliefs have been shaped by others' interests and actively working to identify those interests and their mechanisms. Question beliefs that conveniently serve powerful interests. Seek information from sources that aren't algorithmically filtered to confirm your existing views. Recognize that consensus often reflects successful narrative management rather than truth. This doesn't mean becoming paranoid or rejecting your beliefs. It means holding beliefs more lightly, recognizing they were shaped through social processes designed to serve interests that may not be yours, and remaining open to revising beliefs when you recognize their origin or service. The integration, living with forbidden knowledge. Now you understand patterns you can't unsee. Everyone performs constantly. All loyalty is conditional. Victims may be your greatest threats. Love is temporary neurochemistry. Every interaction negotiates power. Your beliefs were installed by others' interests. This knowledge is dangerous because it strips away comfortable illusions that make social life bearable. You can't trust the way you did before. You can't believe in unconditional loyalty. You can't assume people's presentations reflect their authentic selves. You can't make major decisions based on romantic feeling. You can't unconsciously surrender power in relationships. You can't accept your beliefs as simply true rather than strategically installed. Living with this knowledge requires rebuilding your approach to relationships on realistic foundations. Accept that everyone performs and enjoy the performance without expecting it to be complete authenticity. Build relationships on mutual benefit that serves both parties rather than expecting unconditional loyalty. Evaluate people's behavior patterns over time rather than accepting their claimed victimhood automatically. Make major life decisions based on practical compatibility when judgment is clear rather than during neurochemical intoxication. Consciously negotiate power in relationships rather than unconsciously surrendering it. Examine your beliefs for whose interests they serve and revise accordingly. This isn't becoming cynical or paranoid. It's becoming strategic and protected. Machiavelli didn't write to make people cruel. He wrote to prevent good people from being destroyed by those who already understood these patterns and used them without conscience. The people who rise to power in any context are usually those who understand these patterns already. They know everyone performs. They exploit conditional loyalty. They weaponize victimhood when useful. They don't let love impair important decisions. They negotiate power consciously, and they shape others' beliefs strategically. Your choice is whether to remain naive and be controlled by these patterns, or understand them and participate consciously. Naivete doesn't protect you from manipulation. It ensures you'll be manipulated by those who understand what you don't. The final warning: you can't unwatch this. You'll recognize these patterns everywhere now, in every relationship, in every interaction, in every institution. You'll see the performance beneath presentations. You'll notice loyalty evaporating when conditions change. You'll identify strategic victimhood. You'll recognize neurochemical intoxication being mistaken for profound connection. You'll observe power negotiations operating constantly. You'll catch narrative management attempting to shape your beliefs. Some days, you'll wish you could return to comfortable ignorance. You can't. The patterns are too obvious now. The manipulation is too visible. The games are too apparent. But you're also protected in ways you can't be manipulated as easily through mechanisms you now recognize. You can't be betrayed as devastatingly because you don't expect unconditional loyalty. You can't be controlled through performed presentations because you see through the performance. You won't make catastrophic decisions based on temporary neurochemistry. You won't unconsciously surrender power. You won't accept managed beliefs uncritically. Machiavelli paid the price for documenting these patterns: exile, poverty, and having his name become synonymous with evil for revealing truths that threatened existing power structures. But his observations survive because they describe reality with uncomfortable accuracy. You now have knowledge that's been forbidden, suppressed, and distorted for 500 years. What you do with it determines whether it becomes curse or protection. Use it to manipulate others, and you become what Machiavelli has been falsely accused of teaching. Use it to protect yourself while treating others fairly, and you become what Machiavelli actually was, someone who sees reality clearly and navigates it successfully without becoming its victim. The choice is yours. The patterns won't change. Your awareness of them has changed permanently. Welcome to reality without comfortable illusions. It's less pleasant but far more accurate than the alternative.
Dobro, dobare. Ovo je dobra partija bila, znači loše smo radili.
Because once is enough to change how you see everything forever.
There are 7 things you must keep private. Never share them with anyone. Not your best friend, not your girlfriend, not even your family. Stoicism teaches us to keep most things to ourselves, because the more you reveal, the easier you are to destroy. Niccolo Machiavelli warned us, everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. That's not a quote, that's a warning. Machiavelli didn't say this word for word, but he lived it. And in The Prince, he made one thing clear. If you want to stay in control, reveal nothing. The more you reveal, the easier you are to break.
U prošle, kažem ti, tako me otplaši, zambijaše mi, onda ja šta ću morati da zaronim.
And if you give them the wrong piece of information, especially the last one, they might use it against you later. So today, I'm giving you 7 things you should never reveal to anyone. They seem harmless, but they expose you. They make you easy to manipulate. So listen carefully. This could save your reputation, and maybe even your life. 1. Your next move. You tell people your goals, your strategies, your vision, thinking they'll support you. But in silence, they begin to chip away at it. They pretend they care. But what they're really doing is undermining your momentum. They question it. They doubt it. Not because they care, but because they fear what you'll become. Your plan isn't safe in other people's heads. It's safe when it's done. Here's the truth. People secretly don't want you to rise above them. Friends become critics when your ambition grows louder than theirs. And if your next move threatens their comfort, they'll sabotage you with a smile. They act supportive, but they're waiting. Let them wait forever. Power moves in silence. You don't need validation. You need results.
Grčko-američki ratni veteran.
Before it's made, they'll block it.
Dijagnosili su mu kancer, kako se zove, raka pluća.
Now you've given them something even more powerful.
Onda otišao je na rodno mjesto, kako se zove, u Grčku da umre, pa živo još 4 godine.
Let results do the talking. The second you reveal your next move, you expose your ambition. And ambition triggers one of 2 reactions. Insecure people will try to lower it. Competing people will try to sabotage it. This is why smart men move in silence. They speak with actions. They don't explain their dreams, they deliver them. Let me give you a real-world example. You tell a friend you're launching a business. They hit you with, "Are you sure that's smart right now? Isn't that risky? You're gonna leave your stable job for that?" Now stop. Were they really concerned for your well-being? Or were they afraid you might actually break free? People will throw doubt at you dressed as advice. They'll use your old self to hold back your future self. Oh, but you're not that type of guy. You're not even good at that. You've never done something like that before. Let me be blunt here. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't need permission to evolve. You don't need validation to act. Machiavelli wrote, It is double pleasure to deceive the deceiver. Don't mistake this for dishonesty. He meant play the game, but stay 2 steps ahead. Let others think they know your moves while you execute the real ones in silence. Because the truth is, when they know your next move, they can block it, they can delay it, they can steal it, or they can plant seeds of doubt before you even start. Think of the most powerful people in history. They didn't announce their next move. They didn't broadcast their intentions. They moved, then let the world react. Julius Caesar didn't post a plan before crossing the Rubicon. Alexander didn't tweet before launching a campaign. Machiavelli didn't ask for feedback before manipulating the state. Today's world tricks you into thinking you have to share. That transparency is strength. It's not. Silence is strength. Let me give you a scenario. You tell your family you're quitting your job to build something on your own. They panic. They throw stats at you. 90% of startups fail. Don't risk stability. You have bills to pay. Suddenly, you feel small. You question yourself. You delay action. Not because your plan was wrong, but because their fear became your burden. Now reverse the script. You quit silently. Build quietly. Then when it's done, they see the result. That's how you earn respect. You don't ask for it. You impose it.
Kruška, ne samo opucaj na mene, Bog te mazo, šta čekaš?
People respect finished products. They don't respect unfinished ideas. Every time you share your next move,
oh, yes, please.
Sometimes with a word, sometimes with silence. Both are lethal when you're still fragile. Ask yourself, why do I share my plans with people who've done nothing with theirs? And if this hits hard, drop this in the comments. I move in silence. 2. Your weakness. The second you tell the wrong person your weakness, you become a target. You might think you're being honest, but they're taking notes. They're storing your pain like ammo. Marcus Aurelius said, be tolerant with others. Be strict with yourself. That means you deal with your pain internally without broadcasting it for validation. Why? Because most people don't care. And the ones who do, they're watching to see when you bleed, so they know where to strike. What you see as a cry for help, they see as leverage. You bleed in front of them, and they pretend to stitch the wound, then cut deeper when it serves them. Your enemies are often people you once called friends.
Opa! Joj, Bože moj, znači čovjek je došao tu.
Your weakness is your responsibility, not your announcement. Stop expecting others to carry your emotional weight. You bleed in front of the wrong person once, and you'll pay for it forever. Don't believe me? Look at the last time someone used your own words against you in an argument. That friend who remembered what you said in weakness.
Oh.
That relative who laughed about your fear months later. That ex who exposed your deepest insecurity after the breakup. They don't forget, they collect. Never forget this. Your enemies were once your confidants. Your biggest betrayals will come from familiar faces. And the wounds that hurt the most will be the ones you volunteered. So what do? You build yourself up. In private. You conquer your demons behind closed doors. You become the kind of man who masters his wounds, not markets them. And if you're thinking, but I need support, let me tell you something. Support is earned through strength, not tears. Because in a world full of emotional exhibitionists, the man who is stoic, who is unreadable, that's the man they respect. He's unpredictable. He's powerful. He's untouchable. You don't walk around showing your cracks. You become the storm that doesn't break. Because the second you show them where to hit, they will. Your pain is sacred, protected. Now let's go even deeper. Your enemies,